Hello, everyone out there in podcast world. Hope you're having a great day. You're listening to the Service Business Mastery Podcast, the podcast focused on service business owners, managers, and technicians who are considering becoming business owners themselves. Today's guest is Marisa Murgatroyd. She's the founder of Live Your Message and creator of the Experience Product Masterclass. She helps people who teach with online programs get better results for their students. I know that's kind of outside of what Service Business Mastery typically talks about, but the reason why we're talking about this is because she has a really unique take on receiving testimonials. I thought that was a really awesome thing, how she gamified her testimonials and was able to receive 700 of them. So I wanted to talk to her for really quick and get her take on how she did it and how we could do it in our business, and even maybe open your eyes and broaden your horizons as far as thinking about offering an online product. Maybe it's for technicians. Maybe you're able to offer something for a service technician training or something to that effect. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this episode. If you do enjoy this episode, please leave us feedback. Take a screenshot of this episode, share it on Instagram, Facebook, put it in your stories and tag me. I'd love to connect with you on social media if we're not already connected. And if you have any questions or thoughts, please reach out to me, and I'd love to answer those or reach out to an expert and have them answer it for you. Before we get started, though, I really want to give a huge shout out to myeasyinstall.com. Chris Rush, he was on here on episode 413. I got some really good feedback on that. A lot of people said they're going to try it out in the HVAC industry. It's different. It's definitely thinking outside the box. I want you to check out that episode if you haven't already, and check out myeasyinstall.com. That's the letters E, the letter Z, and then install.com. And long story short, they connect the consumer with the contractor whenever the consumer purchases equipment online. And they preface the conversation with a realistic price that they should be expecting to pay. They don't give prices out, but they let you know that you're not going to get a certified company that's licensed and insured and bonded and preferred by the manufacturer for $500 to install a system. So it's a really cool process. It's too long for me to explain it here in this little segment, but check out the episode. I talked to him last year also, so that was a very interesting episode as well. But Chris Rush, he's a really cool guy and very easy to talk to. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to them. But just go to myeasyinstall.com and then get signed up. It's just click the top right of that site and get registered. Even if you're not going to do it, just to check it out and see what it's all about. You can get registered and tell them that you don't want to receive any leads or anything like that. So with that being said, I really want to get started with this conversation. Marisa, welcome to the show. How are you?
I am good. Thank you.
Good. So for our listening audience, if you would not mind, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're actually located, and what you do and how you got into what you're doing?
Absolutely. So I'm located here in Los Angeles in Topanga Canyon. And I actually started out my career as a documentary filmmaker. And so you might be wondering, how did I become this online business trainer and help, thousands of people around the world to grow a business? So basically, after being in documentary film for about 7 years, I started to realize that um, you know, it takes about 3 years to make an average film and less than 1,000 people see it. So I
Mm.
realized maybe it's not the best place for me because I want to have a bigger impact and see more results in the world. And so I started to think about where could I actually use my skill set? And I thought it might be at the intersection of the internet and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And ultimately discovered that the skill set that I developed as an artist and as a filmmaker, which is making things look good, making things sound good, and telling a really good story, was actually the basis of all business and marketing. And as an artist who is used to struggling, I never thought that my skills were so valuable just in a different context. But
Mm,
sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and you spend a lifetime developing skills that can be hugely valuable outside of the way that you're currently using them. So
absolutely.
basically, I help people around the world to develop unique product lines to add to their business, to use internet marketing to fill their business, and to really create, a brand, a thriving brand and a thriving business.
Sweet. Cool. That's really exciting. And it's a lot of times in our industries, a lot of service industries, it's just the way it's always been done. You know what I mean? There's no, thinking outside of the box is very weird to a lot of people. And whenever you've been this is the way you've always done it, and you're presented with, well, let's change things up. Let's think outside of the box. And it's very foreign to a lot of people, which is really cool. I'm excited to hear um, your take on a lot of topics here. So what we're actually going to talk about today is how you gamified your way to getting uh, 700 pages of testimonials for your online course, which is really awesome because a lot of times our industry, the business owners, we're just technicians. Like, we didn't go to business school to and then decide to start a service business. Most of the times we were service technicians. We're really good at what we did. So we said, hey, what the heck? Let's just start an AC business or a plumbing business or whatever. And whenever we're asked for testimonials, it's like, wait a minute, I work on these units. I work on, I clear drain lines. I'm not really good at getting testimonials. So I'm really excited to hear what it is that you have to say and how you did it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have to say that I had a service business too, a different one. It was in web design and branding, but it's still a
Nice.
service business for
Oh,
many,
yeah.
many years. And one of the things that I did, and a lot of people ask me how to get better testimonials. And one of the things that I really focus on, and I primarily teach people how to create online programs and courses. And if you ever get to the point where you want to teach people how to run a business like yours, then it might be a good opportunity for
Oh,
you
cool.
to develop another revenue stream. What were you saying?
I said, oh, that's really cool. I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So basically, I tie it into the promise of what I'm doing. So, for example, in my program, I develop programs around what I call a mission statement. And a
Hmm.
mission statement is what people are going to do, be, feel, have, overcome, or achieve through your work together. Now, it takes a little bit more creativity with some of the service businesses that you're working with, but a lot of times it might just be solving a very specific problem for them, correct?
Yeah.
And then once the problem is solved, I basically have, but the thing is that's a little bit different with what I do is that people themselves are doing the work. So it's not just that I'm doing the
Gotcha.
work for them, but they're doing the work for themselves. So say you are actually teaching people DIY, repairs to their homes. That's
Hmm.
another thing you can do. It's not just teaching people how to, um, create their own business like what you've done, but you could be teaching people how to do home repairs on their own,
Right.
and reach an audience that goes beyond your local area and
Hmm.
kind of expand your reach that way. But say, for example, you were teaching people how to repair their own air conditioning unit. Okay, let's just
Right.
do that
Right.
as an example because I know you run an air conditioning business. And so um, I would create a program around a particular outcome. So I do that by creating what I call a product mission. And a product mission is a super clear outcome that people know when they've completed it. So your mission, should you choose to accept it, for example, is the format that I use. I call it the Mission Possible template. And I took it from
Hmm.
the Mission Impossible movie series.
Yeah.
So for our Experience Product Master class, where I teach people how to create products, around their expertise, it's this: your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to design, market, and make $2,000 or a whole lot more from an experience product in 12 weeks or less. So that all of a sudden has people know what they're going to do and what the outcome is. Now, I know it feels like a bit of a stretch for a service business, but say your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to learn how to fix the, three most common problems that happen with home air conditioning units. So the next time your air conditioning goes out, you know what to do to fix it, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
then, say, for example, you lead them through the three biggest problems and how to fix it on different kinds of air conditioning units. And then at the end, you say, and as a special bonus for completing the work and getting that outcome, I'm going to give you a training on how to fix the additional 2 problems, that relate to
Oh,
air
cool.
conditioning units or, whatever it happens to be, or how to fix a fan or something complimentary like that. And,
Yeah.
the way that they claim the bonus is to go in and share the story of their experience in the program and the outcome that they got
Oh.
and whether they solved that problem for themselves or not. So basically I have a button, they push called mission accomplished. And when they push that button, it goes to a place to submit the story of their experience, how much money they made, what they did to launch their product, how they felt about their product. And so I had the last time I did this program, 700 students sign up, and I got over 700 pages of testimonials, which does not mean that every student submitted a testimonial. Some
Mhm.
people submitted 5 or 10 pages, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that's how I got 700 pages of testimonials. It was built right in to the program itself. It was a button in the membership site where they go to take the
Mhm.
course, and it was all gamified. So when they hit the button, they would get extra points, and they would win an extra kind of a prize, a mission accomplished prize.
Yeah.
And then I would get all the testimonials right then and there without having to ask, really.
That's really cool. So I like, and I like that thought process, and you're exactly right. You have to think outside the box. You wouldn't want to teach all of your clients how to repair all the things, but I really like the thought process of, uh, even, teaching them, like, minor things, and then if it becomes more in-depth process, they could even reach out to you, and uh, get you to come out and take a look at their systems, and then you don't even have to they don't have to be a local client either, like, you can actually provide this to all over the country, and then, if they can't figure it out, then they can call their local provider, but then do you actually would you charge them for those 3 steps or
Yeah, I
the
would.
3
I
Okay.
would, because this is how you start to make money, a new revenue stream through what you do. And now no one's gonna become, the average home person isn't gonna become like an air
Right.
conditioning expert like you are, right?
Yeah, yeah. Totally.
My husband's father was actually a expert in installing, enterprise level air conditioning units.
Oh,
So
cool.
they're not gonna have become that
Mhm.
anytime soon, but if they can get some general proficiency and solve basic problems for themselves, that's good. And then if they do even happen to be in your local area, they might even be more likely to call you because, you help them in some way, shape, or
Yeah.
form. So this
Or
could be
share
something
it.
that you do for content marketing videos, for example, just to raise awareness about
Yeah.
what you do, or you can use it as selling a mini course, if it's going to be something an outcome that people want.
Yeah, I like that, and even, like, technicians, if you had a service technician that wanted to learn more, about your like, that's a problem that we have in our industry in general, in the trades is getting qualified employees. I mean, that's not just the trades, but there's a lot of places, but getting qualified technicians is a pretty, major issue that we have, and, if you had these training courses for these service technicians, um, it could almost be like a pre-qualifier to them, like, starting on board with you. Like, if they took the courses and then they passed the courses, and then, is there actually a way to make it so that you can test them on it, or is it just for their
Yeah,
educational
you
purpose?
absolutely could. So that's another application of, training programs. You could train other, business owners like yourself and how to build your kind of business. You could train
Gotcha.
other technicians in the basic skills they need. You could train potential customers and DIY solutions. So there's a lot of different ways that you could be building courses and programs that might add a new revenue stream to your business and allow you to kind of do some new things.
Yeah, that is really cool. I love how that you're able to do that. Are y the when you got the testimonials, were they just like an internal testimonial, or wa was there a way, or is there a way to create it so that, the testimonial could go on, like, Google or Yelp or whatever? Like a
Well, usually you could have a checkbox basically where you ask permission to share the testimonial. You could
Okay.
also reach out after you get some testimonials for ones that you really like and send them, hey, here's a link to my reviews on Google or Yelp or
Okay.
wherever it happens to be. Would you mind posting it there as well since it's already written? You know.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I was thinking because, especially if you can repurpose that testimonial, that's key. I mean, we use a CRM, and when we were first using it, we were collecting a lot of internal testimonials and reviews each service technician. But that doesn't help with Google rankings because that's not on Google. So we were having to transition those reviews over to Google. So I like being able to somehow just get that out there so that the rest of the world can see those testimonials too.
Absolutely.
Cool. So that's honestly super exciting. My mind is churning in all these different directions where I could help more people across, because I get questions all the time, even with the podcast, like, how does your business do X, Y, and Z? Uh, so if I was able to just send them a link to that instead of like actually sitting down, I mean, I don't mind sitting down and conversing with every person that messaged me. I actually enjoy it. But if they were able to go through this link, and then would they be able to actually see it again once they've seen it the first time, in case they forgot something? Or
You mean go back and edit a testimonial?
no, not the testimonial, the actual program that you're doing.
Yeah, a lot of times it's common to, you know, have a membership site where people can go in and consume the content, log in, and get access to trainings. So we give
Okay,
lifetime access to our trainings.
okay, cool. Yeah, I like that. Just my gears are churning in my head, and I'm trying to. I I don't want to be selfish with this at all, but yeah, I'm just like thinking about ways that I could help people, and it's really like, man, this is. I never even thought about this. This is so outside the box. I mean, and I pride myself on thinking outside the box. So this is really super cool. Um, what what program, like, so? How do we get involved with you? Like, how do we get connected with you? What's the next step along this process?
Yeah, well, I actually put together a cheat sheet, kind of a checklist of, you know, the 10 core experiences that I recommend adding to your offers if you want to create viral products that get people kind of like hooked on working with you and taking
Mhm.
actions and things like that, and the 10 things that you want to avoid. So if you go to
Okay.
liveyourmessage.com/, SBM for Service Business Mastery,
Okay.
liveyourmessage.com/SBM, you can download that checklist. Just give your name and email address, and you'll download the checklist, and we'll follow up with some more information.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That's you probably filled up my entire afternoon because I'm going to be just going and searching all your stuff and everything. I'm I'm super stoked. I already have a lot on my plate, but what's one more thing, That's this is exciting. But
That's a great attitude to have.
right. So, if anybody, is that the best place to reach out to you to learn more about you and connect with you?
Well, you can also go to our website, liveyourmessage.com, but the
Okay,
specific checklist about kind of what I'm talking about is at liveyourmessage.com/SBM, just for your audience.
perfect. Thank you so much for doing that for the audience. I know that they'll enjoy it. Um, and I look forward to learning more about you and getting connected with you and getting through this process. This is stoked. I'm super stoked. I probably am going to have 1,000 more questions as soon as I get started with this. And for anybody that's listening to this episode, I'll share my thoughts as I go through this process. So thank you again for coming on the show and sharing this information. Um, it's you for a service business, you definitely have to think outside the box as the world changes, and I think that that's exactly what this is. I think this is thinking outside the box, because Icebound, my AC and refrigeration company, we're 100% paperless, we're 100% remote, and that's completely unheard of for a service business. So like, we have to do things to think outside the box, and I think this is the next step right here. So really cool. Thank you again for coming on the show today.
Sure thing.
Thank you again for listening to the Service Business Mastery Podcast. The podcast focused on service business owners, managers, and service technicians who are considering becoming business owners themselves. If you have any questions or concerns, or just want to reach out to me, or just test out my autoresponder, reach out to me at tersh@icebound.us. And that's I have a lot of people that reach out to me just to test the autoresponder, and just one of the ways that I automate our lifestyle, the way that we can fit so much into one day is to automate certain processes, and limiting the expectation of people who send emails so that they know that I'm not going to respond immediately, so they're not upset with that. It's really nice to have that autoresponder, and several people that I talk to a lot, they've started implementing it themselves, which is really cool. Whenever I get that autoresponder back from them, it gives me a little chuckle. But anyways, thank you again for listening to this episode. And this episode is free. It's free for you to listen, free for you to download. The one ask that I do have, maybe your one way of paying, is to share this episode with somebody that you may feel like would value it. If you're doing air conditioning, a lot of our listeners are in air conditioning and electrical and plumbing. This season is when we start to slow down a little bit, and so you start having a little bit of extra time to listen to certain things. So share this content, share this episode and all the episodes with a friend of yours who you may find value, or a competitor. Find somebody that's not pricing their stuff out right. They're not doing business right. Make them a better competitor. Share it with them. Tell them to bump their prices up. Anyways, thank you again for listening to the Service Business Mastery, and we'll talk again next week.